A few months ago, I took the time to organize this bookshelf, and I thought it was kind of cool. So I thought I might take you guys for a tour of it, just in case you might be interested in seeing it. Starting at the top here, I've got a couple Funko Pops, nothing too special, and a couple, I think they're vintage, little, you can see there, I say I don't know much about The Simpsons to know what characters they are. I don't know if it says it on the side, but you can see they weren't real expensive, 15 bucks. And I got this little Adidas Lego guy that I built probably like 6 months or a year ago, honestly. Then in these things, I actually have some vintage checks in there. Try not to go too high because I don't want to show information that's not mine, because there's actually something else on the wall that doesn't belong to me, which is kind of silly, I know, to have it in that spot. But then I got, you can see here on the actual top shelf, a lot of other stuff on the side that's definitely not related in any way. It's just different cool things. Like I thought this pirate ship was super dope. It's a little older. Got this nice little end piece. This is something that I actually bought from someone at a garage sale. Their wife had made it, so I just wanted to be like supportive. You got this older, it's actually perfume, or not perfume, I think it's more like cologne. Then you got this vintage I guess pencil sharpener. I don't know why I would say I guess, considering that's what it is. Then you got some actual books on the second shelf here, and they usually are just used more as a background, because on the foreground you can see I did try to create somewhat of a coherent image here, or at least a couple different images combined into one, because you got your crystal sanctuary over here. This crystal is definitely a really nice piece. Got a nice little piece of amethyst. Then you start getting into the soldiers. You got this little metal guy, but you do have one more crystal sanctuary, another piece of amethyst with all the crystals around it. You got that old vintage car in the back, another metal warrior here, then a smaller one. This is actually some of the only silver. I think it actually is the only silver on here. It's a little bit of silver shot that I put into some different glass vials. I thought that was cool. You got this vintage mailing box. It does have a new door on it, I believe. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the body was rebuilt and then the door is original and was put on there. But I've had it for many, many years since I was a young kid. Then I've got some more guys over here, another car. And you got all these cars parked in here. These are all different, varying in age, but all at least like 20 years old. I think that is probably the newest one in there. And I think it's like 2002 or something like that. Then you got the plane crashing into the car that's broken, which I thought was kind of cool, because the eBay seller years ago actually threw in that broken truck just as an extra. So that was nice of them. Then you got a bunch more books lining up the back here. Again, it's more of the foreground, although this is definitely a weaker shelf, I would say, in terms of the other items present. This was one that was more of just kind of some filler stuff, but this guy's supposed to be standing. I actually broke that off of a toy because I thought it was cool just to have the guy by himself, which was kind of silly because it was like a toy from the 80s, but you know, that's how I am. I got this Prince Albert in a can. It's not really anything special. Those are a dime a dozen. This is pretty cool though. This like, I guess it's a Geo, I don't remember, but it's like a special marble that looks really cool. Got this McDonald's toy, Happy Meal toy, it's a little older. You got that little truck there. This thing actually lights up and it will change colors, so should have put that on to begin with, but that's kind of cool. Got a nice marble over here as well. Just a little, I think this is actually like a Hot Wheels car that's like Lego themed. So yeah, it's just a bunch of knickknacks, like the Racing Champions Kmart thing. This is like a 20-year-old Christmas, I guess, ornament. I don't know, but all just like random stuff, like I said. Then down here, this is supposed to be standing up. See, I didn't really give you guys the best presentation. That's my bad. This is just like something, it's from the mall or something special, but it's just a little rock. Now, the actual books down here are definitely a lot nicer. These are all vintage books, and they're much bigger, like text-based pieces. You got like a dictionary on there. You got a thesaurus, another dictionary for schools. And then over here, you've got a little tape measure down there. It's vintage. Then you got a bunch more vintage books. You can see a few Hardy Boys books. The two at the bottom are from the 50s, I believe. Maybe the one's from the 50s, and then two are from the 70s, and then the other's from the 90s. Then you got the thing in the middle there is actually a really old vintage cookbook, which is really cool. Got an older copy of Alice in Wonderland. The Tale of Two Cities is only from the 80s. And then you got a really nice copy of William Shakespeare. It's The Complete Works. Then over here, we got the really old books. All of these are over 100 years old. These actually probably got a little bit of value to them. This one, I think, is like 1910 or so, and some of them even go back as far as like the later 1800s as well. So that's really awesome to have just the chance to own those without having to pay too much for them, because I got them at a store that was local to me from somebody who was really awesome and kind of a friend of the family as well. He had known them from a long time before. He had actually been the priest who married them. I believe it's a priest that marries you at your wedding. But anyways, I got some more books down here. We got a few different Guinness World Record Gamer Edition books, which I thought was kind of cool. And all these books are supposed to be related. Like, it's the Guinness books. Then you got this other gaming book down here, which is just like, I guess, a gamer's magazine. You got an almanac, and then you got the Weird But True thing. So they're all kind of like fact or like just random collection books, if you will. Then I actually do have some coin books down here. Like this one's pretty nice, the American Gold and Silver. I do have 10 ounces of silver shot just randomly placed in front of it. Usually I don't keep that open, but I did actually have it exposed to the elements for a long time because I wanted it to get some tarnish. I was never planning on selling it, so I thought it looked kind of cool with the tarnish. It is kind of like ruining it, I guess, for the sake of just my own stupidity, but I thought it was cool, like I said. This thing is just filled with all sorts of random like little game pieces. It's kind of dope. I'll pull, oh wait, I cannot pull it out because the books will fall over, and I don't really feel like dealing with that when I only have one hand free. Then I just got some more books down here. They just look kind of nice. The vintage stapler, but then these are all different coin books, and some of them actually are older. This one's kind of like interesting. I'll actually take the time to show these for a second because those might be more interesting to you. Like you can see these are all sorts of different like transit tokens and such, and some of them are pretty old, so that's a really awesome thing to have. I've had that for a long time, before I was even super big into coins myself. And then there's just a bunch of different, like these are like, I don't think have much of anything in them, but some of them are older ones. And there's even like a complete set of silver ward nickels in there that I got at an auction where the seller never explained that there was silver in there. So I paid like basically nothing for the book. And then we come to the bottom here. We got a state quarter book that's definitely far from complete, but a decent amount of them. It has like 39 out of 50, I think. Just a little postal truck down there. And I'm actually using some weights on the bottom of the shelf to prop it up as well. Then you got this over here. This is just a set of 12 different gems, which is pretty cool, I think. The one is being hidden. There you go. So I thought that was kind of dope. This was a present, and it was really cool. It was from a guy who was selling off a bunch of different stuff on Etsy, actually. So hopefully it wasn't a scam. But I did also put some cards down here. You got different sellers that I've bought from on Instagram. 4 of them, in fact, and they all make really nice looking business cards, which is why I left them down here. This one in particular is really awesome. Definitely a dope seller who I remember doing a lot of business with back before he was really a seller at all. He was more of just a buyer. Then just some random knickknacks. We got the Back to the Future car. Got a few more of these types of cards, like this another cologne bottle. Just a couple random cars. This book of pennies is actually not too bad. Let me go down here. As far as the dates, there are some decent dates, but it's nothing like amazing. The reason I put it out mostly is because the book itself is in better shape than some of the other ones. Although I do have a full set of pennies, it's just a little larger to display, so I didn't really feel like dealing with that. Then I got this over here, the little vintage armoire. I think I have something on the one side, but it's nothing special. But on this side, I actually do have a couple of these certificates, because I did make a video showing this. At that same yard sale where I bought the thing that the guy's wife made, I was also able to buy pretty much the entire set of like 1980s Coca-Cola based, I guess like you would call them ceramic like figurines and stuff, like the little things that were really popular back in the day that everyone's grandma had at their house, at least one of them. These people had like all of them. They had like 5 big ones, 10 small ones. They collected them, pretty much all of them, like I said. I think they might have been missing like one thing, but yeah, I just keep those in there because I figure safekeeping. And yeah, that's basically the tour of my bookshelf. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Really appreciate you watching to the end. If you did, peace.